Hi everyone, welcome back to Lulumath. This video is on finding the vertex of a parabola of the form y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. And this form is known as vertex form. And the background information you'll need to know in order to fully understand the concepts behind this video is you need to know how to do transformations of quadratic graphs. There are 3 different videos on transformations. One is on the a value, one is on the k value, and one is on the h value. So if you feel like you need a little bit of extra help, make sure you check those videos out. So in the first question that we have here, we're asked to find the vertex of the parabola of the equation y equals the quantity x minus 5 squared plus 2. I want to show you what this graph will look like so we can identify the vertex simply from looking at the graph. Then we will use our information about transformations of graphs to identify the vertex without actually having to graph it out. But let's look at the graph to begin with. So remember, the vertex is where the minimum or the maximum of our parabola is. And because this parabola opens up, our minimum is right here. And this coordinate right here is 5, 2. So we can say that our vertex is 5, 2. Now the equation of a parabola is y equals x minus 5 quantity squared plus 2. These values are not a coincidence. So how can I use vertex form to determine what the vertex is and why does it work? And that's more important. Why does it work? So just a reminder of what vertex form is. So it's a times x minus h squared plus k. So don't forget that the a value will tell us if our graph is vertically stretched or compressed. The k value will tell us the vertical translation, and the h value will tell us the horizontal translation. So if I'm given a parabola that looks as follows, I can vertically stretch it, I can vertically compress it, I can translate it vertically, and I can translate it horizontally. So if I were to vertically stretch my parabola or vertically compress my parabola, if you notice, the vertex is still in the same spot. My vertex hasn't changed place. However, if I were to do a vertical translation of my graph, my vertex would change location. If I were to do a horizontal translation of my graph, my vertex would also change its location. So if you notice, they're the h and the k values that will have an effect on where the vertex is. Now remember, a point is always written as an x coordinate followed by a y coordinate, and because h represents the horizontal translation, that will go in for x. And because x is horizontal, h will go in for x. And because y is vertical, k will go in for y, making my vertex h, k. So therefore, we can say that when a parabola is written in vertex form, y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k, the vertex is at h, k, always. So if vertex form is y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k, we can see that our a value is the 1 here, so we can say a equals 1. We know that the h value is this 5, so h equals positive 5 because it's x minus 5. And this is x minus h. And then we can see that our k value here is this 2 right here. And since the vertex occurs at hk, we can say the vertex occurs at 5, 2, which is exactly what happened in our graph right here. All right, in this next example, we're asked to find the vertex of the parabola with the equation y equals 3 multiplied by the quantity x plus 1 squared minus 4. And remember, vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus plus k. And since the vertex occurs at h, k, now to determine what the h value is here, we know that it has to be x minus some number to give us a plus 1 right here. So the only way that'll work is if I have a negative 1 here. So that means that my h value here is negative 1, and then the k value is pretty straightforward because this is a plus sign, so it's just whatever sign that we have here. So this is a negative 4. So my vertex is going to be at negative 1, negative 4, and I can also say without even looking at my graph that this vertex is going to be a minimum because the a value is positive, which means that my graph will open up. Let's take a look at our graph and see where the vertex is. So if you look right here, my vertex is at negative 1, and then this is negative 4, because we can see here that since this is negative 5 and this is negative 5, each unit represents a whole number on the number line. So in our next example, y equals 1/2 times x minus 9 quantity squared minus 3. Again, vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, and the vertex will always occur at hk. We know the h value right here is going to be a positive 9, because again, this is minus h and this says minus 9, so that means that the 9 has to be positive to keep this a minus sign. And we know that the k value has to be a negative 3. Let's take a look at our graph and confirm that this is true. So if you look here, the vertex is at 9, right here, negative 3. So our vertex here is correct. Again, we know that it's a minimum without even looking at the graph because the a value is positive, which tells us that it will open up. In our last example, we're asked to find the vertex of the parabola with the equation y equals negative 2 multiplied by the quantity x plus 3 squared plus 7. And because the vertex occurs at h, we can say that h has to be negative 3 because we need to have minus a negative to turn this into a positive. And we also know that the k value is going to be at positive 7. Something else that's really important here is that we know that this one is going to be a maximum because the a value is negative, which tells us that the graph will open down. Let's take a look at our graph and confirm. So if you see here, our vertex is a maximum and it is at negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, all the way up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my vertex is negative 3, 7. So in conclusion, y equals a multiplied by x minus h quantity squared plus k is called vertex form because it tells us the vertex. And the reason why is because the h and the k tell us where my graph is moving left and right, up and down, where my vertex is moving to. And I know that my vertex will always occur at hk, no matter what. All right, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below or at lulumath.com, where you can also find blank or completed notes for this video. If you found this to be useful, please make sure to subscribe and share with others. Thank you, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.